Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Pragmatic Spiritualism. This is Tim, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about truth. And I'm going to be going through a lot of this, and I will be tying it in, of course, to looking at things through the lens of death and dying, non-dual tantric yoga, probably some Buddhism, probably some Christianity, lessons from there, lots of different things. But one of my very favorite teachers, he always said that enlightenment or awakening is the complete absence of non-truth. And most of our practices actually are designed to bring us to the truth. And that sounds like such an easy concept, but if you really start to examine this, and what I have seen over the years, that most of us, our level of acquaintance with the truth, like absolute truth, is kind of like in the realm of, I don't know, your 2400th Facebook friend. Like, this is somebody, or not even a Facebook friend, maybe just a Facebook follower. Like, you don't know these people, they don't know you. You have some awareness that they're there, or like every now and again they'll pop up, so you kind of know that they're around. Like, that is most people's level of acquaintance with the truth. And that's no judgment on anybody. I was always the same way. So when we start looking about the truth, I think it's really important to begin to understand, like, okay, well, if we were going to go seek truth and really start digging into that, like, where would that go? Where would we look? And well, I can tell you some places where it's hiding. Initially, our truth is hiding under delusion. What does delusion mean? Well, to me, delusion means that you are absolutely, positively sure of a truth that is not true. That's delusion. You know a truth that is not true. How do you get through delusion? You kind of need a teacher for that, or a guru, or a mentor, or a best friend who's really honest with you, because at that point we need somebody to kind of poke a hole through our truth and go, well, have you ever thought of it this way? And then we can go, well, if we have some willingness, we can go, oh yeah, I never had thought of that. And then that kind of erodes that delusion a little bit. People talk about denial all the time. We have much more delusion than denial. Denial is a lot of work. Denial is to know something is true and keep telling people it isn't. That's a lot of work. But some of our truth is hidden under denial. More commonly and much more insidious, because it's hard to see, a lot of our truths are actually buried underneath our version of the truth. And what does that mean? That is storytelling about situations that happen. It is not coming out of hiding. It is, instead of just the facts. Remember the old crime drama? Some of you probably don't, but it's like, just the facts, ma'am. Like, when we start trying to get away from our storytelling about what happened or what we did or didn't do, and our justifications and all that, those are all our versions of the truth. We actually start to just see the truth. And some of the ways that's come out for me is I just say things to myself when I hear my brain go, well, remember this? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I did that. Absolutely true. I did that. And like, it's amazing how much it pops that bubble of anxiety, meaning, yeah, that's true. Undeniably true. That's what happened. And then not try to fill it in with, but that happened because so-and-so, blah, 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 or because I was blah, 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 blah at that time. It's like, no, this happened. It happened. It's undeniable it happened. That helps us get underneath our versions of the truth. Below versions of our truth, or the truth, is what I call half-truths. And people would probably take offense if I say, you're getting about down to half-truth now. But the fact is, most people are so far from the truth that when you're getting down to about half-truth, that's pretty good. You're starting to see big pieces of things. Your stories and versions are starting to get eroded away. Like, half-truth is pretty good. What would a half-truth sound like? Those are a little bit more to get at. It's like a truth with a little, maybe not even verbal or conscious, but it's like, yeah, that happened. It happened. And like somewhere in the back, but it's just blah, 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 blah. Like, and you shut that off, but it's only half the truth. And when you get down to the absolute truth, it actually seems very simple, because we start to realize that if we don't have any version of the truth, denial of the truth, delusion about the truth, or versions or stories about the truth, and it's just there, it actually, frankly, a lot of times isn't that interesting. It is, when you start to get more truth in your life, you get a lot less interested in storytelling and drama, because that's all ego game, right? That's what the ego does. It dramatizes things. You start just kind of like, oh yeah. So when you're not interested in the past or the history of the story or the version or maintaining your delusions or your denials or your versions of the truth, and you just get down to truth, it actually becomes far more fascinating and interesting in the moment, whatever you're doing now, right now, whether you're tasting something or smelling something or going for a walk. And so if you can start learning to tear down these denials and delusions and versions and storytelling about these things and start to tune into the control mechanism. We're trying to assert control with all of those things. Like, why am I so scared of this? I have this feeling. When I'm around so-and-so, I feel this feeling. We'll start to look at those and think through, well, what is that? Must be a story there. Maybe I'm hiding that from myself. And we start to go look for those things. So last thing about truth, and again, I'm going to dive into this in a lot of these different things, but just kind of laying the framework for this is like, why do we not share the truth? That is, even with ourselves, it's all about control. Adyashanti, one of my teachers, he always says, like, we don't lie to people we're not trying to control. We only lie to people we try to control, because if you tell the truth's out there. You can no longer control the outcome, right? Who knows what they're going to do with that truth, right? So we couch things and we play all these little mind games. And I'm not saying, please don't, actually, by the way, don't go run out there and say, well, you know what, I'm going to go share some truth today. Don't do that. Get really super comfortable with, you have plenty of your own truth you could go find before you need to go telling other people your truth. Like, start looking at your own, start peeling back some truths, because the fact of the matter is, like, from most people's level of acquaintanceship with the truth, they couldn't go tell somebody else the truth. What they'll go do is tell somebody their story, and you did this and you did that, and I felt this way. It's like, well, who cares? I find that when you get down to the real truth about why I feel about this way or that way, it's like, it's just some nonsense going on, some lingering conditioning, and whatever it is, like, there's nothing to tell. What would I tell somebody? If I got down to just the facts, it would be something like, because of my madness and my conditioning and my inability to take a hard look at the truth, the other day at 6 o'clock, you were doing this, and I had these intense feelings, not because of you, but because I'm having troubles. Like, most of us probably aren't going to go share that, and why would you, right? So just start looking for these things. We'll start putting some practices here on the channel, and we'll start trying to look through, how can we get to the truth? What's the truth? And remember, enlightenment or awakening is the absence of non-truth. So I hope you have a good rest of the day. Keep it pragmatic. We'll see you soon. Bye.